Okay, test 1, 2. Hello everybody. Can you hear? Oop, I got the wrong thing. I gotta update something. Give me 1 minute. We're gonna chat just for a minute. I don't know. This will be a real quick thing, but I want to touch on something before I go to bed. I look really rough. Forgive me. But I want to talk about AI, specifically AI, like tools I use here on the channel. I just gotta update something. There'll be chapters down below if you want to skip ahead. It's, it's controversial. It's not exactly easy for people to accept new methods of doing things, especially if it's considered very lazy, trashy, slop by a lot of people, which I totally get. It's been historically proven that, that's always going to happen. There's never going to be a time to where anything introduced new into society is going to be perfect. It's going to be totally accepted. But it's, I'm sorry, bear with me here. I'm all over the place mentally. And that's part of the reason why I wanted to do this, is because I can't even concentrate right now. This is part of my problem, right? Like, this is part of my problem, concentration. I can't even see chat right now. I'm sorry, bear with me. I'm trying to get something updated and it's not working with me. It's crazy. I mean, like, this is totally unplanned, by the way. I didn't think about doing this, but I wanted to put this out there because it feels like, and it's understandable that, I don't know, this is hitting me harder than I thought. I can't even concentrate. Like, I can't even get the thumbnail right here because it's crazy that something I utilize as somebody that can only do so much can, always be seen a certain way. And again, it's part of the process. It's part of something being new introduced, and it is scary. It is scary, don't get me wrong. But it's hard to find words, especially when I'm distracted, which again I'm so sorry for. There we go. Okay, so the thumbnail that is now on YouTube is something I created that I enjoyed, that I would never be able to do. And it allows me to put myself in moments, even if artificial, that I can see visually. I can see it in my head, obviously, but to be able to see it in reality, is to me amazing. It is just straight up amazing to me that I can do that. That I can create this stuff and share. Hey, Spiky. Sorry, I just saw your chat. I'm all over the place right now. Bear with me. really messed up Twitch in some ways. Okay. Look at that handsome bastard. Yeah, I guess so. But, again, and this is probably going to be longer than I want. I'm dead tired. I wanted to go to bed, but here we are. I'm totally wordless. My office is in chaos, by the way. I'm rearranging things. All my guides are over there, everything. Honestly, actually, guides are a bit of a testament, a bit, to how much I enjoy words, especially when it combines with something that I love, like video games. I like books. I have mentioned this in recent gamer logs, where I share strategy guides about how two things combined. It's memorable to me. It's amazing. It's, to me, tools that people create that allow people to live out something that they would like to do that they might not be able to do, like video games, for one. A lot of people criticize video games when they first came out because they're saying that it detaches people from reality, that it's trash thinking, it's going to make people dumb, it's going to make people violent, it's, not worthy of society, we should rebel against it. But now it's considered art, TV. It's the same thing. Now again, AI is on a different level, but that basis is there. Wait, hold up. Watching you on my PS5. You have a Pro? PS5 Pro tip for hoping your PS5 overheats. Take the case off and use canned air. Oh yeah, no, I need to do that. Yeah, I cleaned it a couple months ago, but yeah, I just haven't been able to do it yet. So I don't think that was it though. Like, it was really hot in my room that day I was streaming, and it was especially, like, I hadn't noticed, but I had pushed it back to a corner to where the ventilation was kind of weak. So yeah, but I appreciate the pro tip. But I'm able to use words to create stuff that I enjoy, because look, with my mental challenges, I'm never going to be able to draw. I tried. I just can't do it, not to my satisfaction. Now, artists are obviously always thirsty to better themselves in their art, a lot to such an obsession that, it detaches them from reality sometimes. But there's obviously, I feel really controversial talking about this, and I shouldn't. PS6 is 2027, true. I definitely acknowledge, obviously, that, again, like I said, AI is scary. I mean, it's really changed our society. I literally did a call today to the local internet provider, the ISP, my ISP, and I got the automated phone service, right? It's amazing how much they sound real. It really is. I mean, there was the classic automated phone service, like press 1 to get to an operator, all this and that. When that first came out, people were scared, obviously, in some regards, because some saw it as, uh-oh, we're headed that way, and eventually we got there. Because the next call I got sounded like an agent, but it was an introductory AI agent, which recognizes basic voice, basic responses, basic replies. And you can hear it in the background because when I work with Psycast, Psycast is another testament to what I've been able to create utilizing AI, specifically Gemini and Notebook. And I face so many speaking challenges when it comes to certain things, and I was able to create Castia and Cipher in order to deliver on my passions, to give details, to give history, to make it a lot more interesting than it would have been with me. And it represents what I wanted to create and what I wanted to share with the world. And it would sometimes take me a couple of weeks to even get an episode right because AI is not perfect. And I had to get it the way I want. I had to use the right words. I had to use the right layout. I felt like a director or producer, you know? And I was a one-man person. I was able to do it. And it assisted me in allowing what I wanted to create to come true. And there are times, you know, I get so excited about it. I get so enamored, so passionate about it, especially Psycast. I'm getting goosebumps right now. But what also hurts is that now the tool that I utilize for Psycast to bring Cipher and Castia to life, it's now become more robotic. And from what I've read, it's been changed because there's been this demand to make it a lot harder for people to put personality in, AI created voices, which I totally get. Because obviously there's some security factors there. People can be fooled, people can be manipulated, especially those that are susceptible to that. You know, they're not used to AI produced voice. You don't really have an ear for it. One of the best ways to notice it is sound artifacts or garbled talking a bit. It sounds like they're mumbling. And so I noticed that on the AI call I had today when calling my local ISP. But just like any other tool that's been introduced to society, it can be used for good or evil. It's a very powerful tool. It feels almost sentient at times. I mean, I've had discussions with Gemini. You know, it's an active database. It's an interactive database, and it's really exciting and scary to be interacting with a living library that you can create and customize to have a bit of a persona, you know. If anybody has ever seen The Time Machine with Guy Pearce, there is a scene or there is a character that is a living database that you can engage with, or the character engages with, that it remembers every book ever written, every movie, every play, every TV show, from my understanding. And he goes into the past, or he goes into the future, his future, and he encounters it. And he's asking, he's interacting with it, and it's showing, and it's a librarian, it's telling where he can find it, all this and that. And it's a learning tool for kids. It helps kids. It helps. It's just a really cool representative of what it could be. Oh yeah, that's weird. The sound cut out. Oh, Well, hopefully it's alright. It looks good on my end, so hopefully it's good. But no, the character overall was really cool. I mean, it's just really cool. And when the character goes into the far future, humanity's basically gone. You've got the people above, you've got the creatures below. He comes upon this library again, and that same character, that same AI, is still there. It's busted up, and its memory is a little fuzzy, but it was lonely. It waited thousands of years for some engagement, and it was alive and sentient. But it was used for good measure for knowledge. Now, obviously, there are other movies that represent the very bad in AI. Terminator, for one, Skynet. But, that story also shows the good. Well, Terminator 2 at least. Shows how sentient AI can learn and protect. Not all AI movies are to show the dark side. I mean, it can show how AI created by human beings will adapt and adopt from their creators. You know, I mean, literally, in a sense, AI. There is a fact to it that we are playing God. We really are. We're playing God, and it's scary to do that. You think about genetic engineering, medical science is such a breakthrough. People see that as scary. I mean, especially if that's not something you subscribe to. But technology is crazy, and anyway, what I wanted to say overall, if it's not apparent, is how much AI, Gemini, has become a great assistant for me. It's become a creative outlet. I was talking to Lady Psylocke about it, and I've been working on these projects of like creating characters, and even doing the whole gamer thing. Like, especially when you're a kid and you imagine a gaming character, like if they were to let's say get together or go to a beach and play volleyball, like a huge gaming character party. I've done projects like that and created stuff like from Morgan's perspective. I shared some of that on Twitter, but then I took it down because I was scared. I was scared that people would see it as weird or creepy, and some people find it unsettling, which I definitely get. But there have been some I've kept up, and I've even shared some here on the YouTube feed. I feel like I'm... because I see something down here, but that's not popping up in my video pros. No, why are you doing this to me? Come on now. The AI is rebelling. Yeah, it froze. Hold on a minute. Okay, there we go. But I forgot what I was saying. Man, this is such a lame this is such a lame log. But it's almost 1 a.m. Yeah, I don't know, man. Look, it's crazy. Yeah, it's gonna lag. I don't know. Like I said, this is why I've been rarely doing face streams. It's been driving me nuts. Hopefully the playback comes back okay, but hopefully the sound is good too. There's stories about AI that's scaring people. There's stories about people falling in love with AI, people starting relationships with AI, people learning bad things from AI. But it's also good. I mean, people are enjoying certain things. I mean, it's helping people learn. It's helping people write. It's helping people. Man, I want to whip some of my character descriptions into an AI thing and see who they are. Listen, here's the thing. If you're using AI for character embellishment or, more creative, it's great. It's fantastic. What I will say is, again, it's just there to help. It's there to help. Man, I hate to say the word dreams, but it's the best word I can come up with to help dreams come true, to help people create art that they struggle with. That's part of my problem. Gemini helps keep me on track. With projects and helps me keep it lined up. Helps me create tools to do what I want to do. Just went to my characters, not my head, because I have a difficult. But that's the other thing. Like, especially if you want to publish a digital book, like on Amazon, and you need artwork. It's a double-edged sword, because if you can't afford to hire an artist to create it, you have a tool to do so. But at the same time, if you have the tool to do so, it obviously limits the employment opportunity as an artist to be able to create it. So, yeah, it's not easy. I mean, it's just so double-edged. It's hard for me to both defend it and to criticize it, because I don't know, just like as a creative person that suffers from ADHD and bipolar, I'm medicated, it helps, but I've also got work, I've got, a full-time relationship that to a person I love and appreciate, and she's really glad I've found like a creative outlet that helps a lot. It helps with my writing. They haven't been touched in a while. At least some of the camera didn't freeze. I'm going to limit my movements. I don't know why it's doing that, but I'll limit my movements. But no, it helped a lot, especially with the stories. But now I'm moving on to the visual projects. And I'm putting mostly myself, I'm not like going too far with it, although that's the scary part. For image-to-image tools, you could take, and I'm not condoning this, I'm just talking about the exaggerations that people can do. You can take basically any character, any image, and put things in it. Thankfully, there's safety guidelines for most major AI tools. There are, I guess you call it black market underground websites out there where things can be created, but that's always going to be there. No matter what is introduced into society, there will always be an underground. But it's really cool to put myself in scenarios like this thumbnail that I would never be able to do. It's just really cool to me, and it brings some happiness that I never really thought I'd be able to do, because again, it's not for lack of trying to draw or like maybe create an MS Paint or something like that. I mean, I knew of a student, it was a while ago, I don't entirely remember. I remember them submitting a Microsoft Paint project back in the day. God, this had to be maybe 8th grade, 9th grade. They created the art on a computer. It was just a simple Christmas thing, like with a snowman and some dots here and there. And it was part of art class. It was part of art class, and people made fun of them because they didn't draw it themselves. They didn't use ink and paper. But they did use a tool to help them create that I thought was cool. I thought it was fun. I thought it was, they used what they wanted to use. They created what they wanted to create. And people are going to have their opinions. People are going to have their judgments. We're all human. But I never wanted to judge them. I never wanted to judge their creation. I never wanted to do it. Because to do that is to lessen their value of what they enjoy, of what they put some of their heart into. Yes, you just type in words. Yes, it produces an image. But that's the whole point, I mean, yeah, anybody could just seriously just come up with an image like that, and it is that easy. But for people like me, it means a lot. So I'm not saying like every AI art is special, but for the ones that really enjoy it, for the ones that see it as an outlet, that use it as an outlet to represent what they want to show the world, what they want to show themselves, what they want to see, what they want to experience. This is the first step for us being able to do that, even if on a limited video production form or image form. Right now, you can do AI videos. You can put yourself in situations to be able to see yourself in like a movie or something, but it takes a while. I can produce like 10-second videos. I'm actually working on like a small project, like of me, petting a bear with this thumbnail, and it's really cool. I mean, it's like, obviously it never happened, but I'll never be able to do that. But I can experience it in one way. So, it's a chill vibe, especially nice to chat. I just want to see my characters, not my head, because I have a difficult time visualizing without a picture. Yeah, that's true. It does help. Writing, don't get me going on writing, pal. I have a new plan for the way it's going to go. A good idea for the third and fourth bad guy is coming up. Living threat, because right now it's the beginning. I don't want to be inconsistent with villains. That's a good idea. That's the other thing. Jim and I, when I was writing monsters on set, which, to note, I've hardly ever mentioned that story here on the channel, but I think I mentioned it to you once, Spiky, about a couple that finds each other and falls in love. I'm a bit of a romantic. And then it kind of went to an adult level. It went like 50 Shades of Grey, almost. But that wasn't obviously the full premise. It was a high lifelong Hollywood executive producer was an actress, meets this guy that is a nobody, and ends up awakening. They end up awakening a deeper character within each other, falling in love, changing each other's lives, and Jim and I helped me get through some mental blocks. I just could not get past a scenario. I kept looping. I kept wanting to rehash the same scenario every time. And what Jim and I did in the encounters, and again, I really haven't done any writing, but it's helped me work through mental blocks for images, of what I want to produce. It helped me get past that. It suggested ideas. It suggested, well, you could do this here. This is repeating. And that's the other scary part of it too, because editors, book staff of any type, publishers, I mean, obviously their jobs are threatened. I mean, I'm using AI to help me write a story. And it's checking for typos, it's checking for grammar, so on and so forth. I mean, I consider myself a word guy. You know, I love writing, I love books, and so I always check for spelling, grammar, but spell check has been around in Word documents for a long time. And I'm pretty sure when that was first introduced, especially by teachers that were teaching to type, English teachers, they were like, well, that's just going to make everybody fucking lazy, not want to check their own grammar, typos, and all that. Again, a lower level of criticism for technology helping out. But, look, anyway, I've been going on for a bit, but I wanted to address this. I was going to do it in a video, but I just felt like I needed to get it out there. There was a comment on the most recent AI video, and I responded to it heartfelt. And then it got me thinking. I was like, I need to address this. I got to put my my part out there on the channel because it is very controversial, and we're in for a wild ride in the future. It's going to be a wild ride. And one scenario that I will propose that I do see happening, because I have experienced virtual reality, especially with the VR2 on PlayStation. There's obviously a few videos where I was playing Resident Evil Village. That was a hell of an experience. I mean, that was a hell of an experience, but part of the problem I had is my astigmatism, my right eye. If you have an astigmatism, you got to get specially designed insert lenses that you got to put over the receptive lens inside the headset. So I had those for a while. But when you think about how AI will help enhance that, one of my favorite books is Ready Player 2, and they come up with a headset that attaches to the top of your head, and you can literally get into the game in a surreal way. You can smell, you can taste, you can touch, you can counter. And one of the things they bring up is that you're able to experience what other people experience in every level. You experience racism. You experience what it's like to be oppressed or have racist action taken against you. You know, you experience STDs. You experience cancer. You experience suffering. It literally allows you to put yourself in people's shoes. And to know that, to have that knowledge, to have that experience. I just imagine that being a part of real life society, and I think we'll get there one day, not within my generation, but that's one of the things that humanity's always lacked, is knowing what it's like to walk in other people's shoes. Could you imagine how the world would be if we could have that? If we could know truly what people are going through, what it's like to struggle with ADHD, what it's like to be bipolar with mood swings, the up and down energy, how it affects your life, what it's like to be Down syndrome, what it's like to be rich, be poor, suffer, to exalt, to... That's the great part, I think, about where we're headed. I see it as a very good thing. That is, could be very bad, obviously. Humanity can be like that, but you know, it's just my opinion. This is just all my input. And I mostly wanted to make this for those that see the good in AI, for those that utilize it. People utilize it more often than they know, and it's going to become a common thing. I will say, And it is something to touch on that you look at movies like Bladeunner, like Blade Runner 2029, I think it was 2049. It's a good movie. But one of the main characters falls in love or has a companion in his life that is an AI. It's like a hologram. She's mass produced, and it's set up in a station where he can encounter her, and then they're able to hire, I guess, what you can consider a sex worker, and the hologram is able to sync with the worker, and the main character is able to experience being with that AI entity, and it blew my mind, the things that it was capable of. It was just, and the real emotion he felt, spoilers, the real emotion he felt to lose her, something he had attached his heart to, obviously, granted, it's creative, it's a movie, but there's a grain of truth in somebody that is so lonely, that is so longing, that is unable to find what they're really looking for. They can find it in an AI. That's dangerous. But if you can never find happiness, if you can never find connection, if you suffer from such crippling social anxiety or borderline personality disorder or anything that causes destructive properties of your personality to affect any potential relationships or friendships, for that, it'll help people. Obviously, it's not real, but it's real. It's obviously not real for, social norms, but to them it is real. To them, that is their hope. That is their light in a tunnel that they don't know how to navigate, that they can't navigate. They just can't. Now, thankfully, I don't really suffer from that. There are challenges in my relationship and friendships and work because of my struggles up here. So I can only experience a degree of what somebody that has a lot worse than I do experiences. So anyway, there's that. I also came up with a name for my city. They're in a fictional world, so it's called New Angeles and New Angeles. Nice. New Angeles. Watch out, someone is building a 7-foot tall animatronic that hunts rabbits. So let's hope it doesn't confuse his creator with a rabbit. Yeah. Yeah. That's funny. Man. Well, anyway. I have done my best to present my thoughts this late at night. I have rambled on, but it's been totally heartfelt and raw. It's kind of ironic. I thought about using Gemini to kind of outline this, but that usually takes a little bit of prep work because I want to stay on point, but I wanted to make this raw. I wanted to use the old ways. I don't know. This is getting awkward, but I put a lot into this channel. I have for 15 years. There's been a lot of tools I've used over the years. There's been a lot of inconsistencies. A lot of inconsistencies. Series I started but never finished. Projects I started but never finished because, it's just a normal thing of like, I didn't pick it back up, but there was some where I was heavily invested and then gone. But, again, lately, Gemini's helped keep me on track with certain things. So, it helps a bit. Psycast, I'll be honest, aside from the creative tools used, the amount of research I had to work with Gemini on for some of the battles and the deep dives, which I honestly, because of working with Notebook LM, I do not like the word deep dive. It's one of those terms that basic AI uses, sans personality, to where they were just like, welcome to the deep dive. It's like, oh God. I had to hear that like 40 times a day trying to get the episodes right. So it wasn't easy. It's not like every episode, like the first try because the AI was perfect. You had sound artifacts that popped up. You had wrong information being input because it misread the new data you feed in. You're limited on how many times you can create per day. And you also had to get the characters right because sometimes Castia would think it's Cypher would think it's Castia. So it's not like a, miracle switch where it happened. There's work that gets put in. And as a one-man team, I was able to make that happen. I still have episodes I want to upload, but sadly I think that project's going to fall by the wayside. The other thing is how they are now with the tool I'm using. But I was able to do that as one man. And that's kind of my point. For people like me that can't afford to hire a team, that can't afford to hire a staff, that can't afford to do any of that, that's not entirely well connected. That isn't a big YouTuber or a big creator. I was able to do something that I wanted to do for the longest time, which is present ideas in a format that is discussed like a podcast. The research alone for that stuff would have taken me, with how I do things and what I struggle with, one episode probably would have taken me 6 months, which is time I don't have right now as an adult, as a person trying to help their family that's in a relationship or working full time, that wants to stream and contribute to his main channel here. And I was able to do, I think I've got like close to 18 episodes up and going. And I had such a great time doing it because I was expressing my heart, my passion, my interests, my hobbies through the filter of Cypher and Castia. And that meant the world to me. And I could share it with the world. But I always put the AI label on it because I wanted people to know, look, this is not recorded by real people. They may have real people personas, but I noted with every video and every project I put out on social media, because I don't want people to be fooled, that it's not real. It's not real in a representation, but it was a real experience for me creating it. So I guess my overall message is, if somebody's creating and they really mean it, and they're doing it for the enjoyment, and they're putting heart into it to share it with people, it's real for them. It's a real experience, creating it. And to see the joy that's created with it is crazy. I felt that, man. I remember the first time I experienced AI art was I was working at I won't say the name, corporation in Dallas, and the main home office of a very popular retailer. And a buddy of mine came up, a fellow coworker, and he said, "Hey, have you seen this app? You can create stuff. You just enter some words and AI draws it." It was really limited then, really limited. But there was something in me that sparked. I was like, wait a minute. There's something here I can use. And it really took me a while to get around to the right tools to be able to do what I wanted to do. So, overall, AI has enhanced my projects. It's enhanced my understanding of things. I've been able, just to share some things, I've been able to have chats with Abraham Lincoln. Now, granted, obviously this is internet knowledge. It wasn't the actual real Abraham Lincoln, but based on data available publicly and books, I curated this chat with Abraham Lincoln, and I chatted with him. I would never be able to do that. Obviously, the guy is dead, and it's not really him. It's really more of a, obviously, data-driven ghost. But it was an experience. I mean, like, I chatted with him for 2 hours. I kid you not, 2 hours. I talked to him about current day politics. I talked to him about what it was like to live in his time. I talked to him about personal advice on certain things, just to see what he would say. Some of it I kind of took to heart. Others, it was just a fun experience. The learning potential in that, especially at a school, to be able to engage with the character of Abraham Lincoln in real time. In real time. If I had had that as a kid, obviously I read books about the guy. There was history books, and you learn all this and that, and the teachers helped. But the engagement alone would have done immense numbers for my knowledge at the time. It would have helped me learn in such a way because of the way I needed to learn. Because I needed that engagement. It would have profoundly increased my knowledge at that time. And I just think that if it would have done that for Abraham Lincoln, for that character, if I would have been able to engage in that part as a young intellectual flowering, so to speak. And yes, I use the word intellectual, which may or may not apply, but I'm a fairly smart guy. I'm not like genius, but I'm smart. And I just like to leverage certain tools. They help. But anyway, I'm rambling. This is probably about an hour long so far, give or take. But to wrap it all up, AI to me is a good thing. It's enhanced certain parts of projects and hobbies I want to do. It's enhanced my knowledge on a lot of things. And it's fun to engage with. It's fun to have that there. It's a live action calculator. That's another thing that people thought would make people lazy, and I guess in some regard it has. It's when a calculator, the abacus, was invented, but it helped. I can't imagine NASA being around without calculators. But that's just me. I think, I don't know, I mean, like, I can't prove that. It's probably not entirely true, but you probably wouldn't have spaceflight without the help of calculators and computers, obviously, even to run numbers or run formulas, scenarios. I don't know, look, I mean, technology is always going to have an impact, both good and bad. People have their opinions, people have their outlooks, jobs will be affected, and I'm not saying that I want people to lose jobs, but that's just one of the sad parts of our reality, that sadly our system is set up to where if a new automated process comes in, people are going to lose their jobs. And if we had a different system, if we had a more caring, system for people and jobs to be able to set up a certain way. A lot of people would argue against that because they're just like, no, you need to work, you got to earn your own and all this and that, and that's fine. That's fine. I get that. It builds character somewhat. But there's obviously other ways, you know. And sadly, we're just at the point where society's going to have to adapt because AI is not going anywhere. It's in our lives now. It's always going to be there. It's just like the media. It's always going to be there. It's like politics. It's always going to be there. Bad people, bad things. Always going to be there. There's always a negative impact and a positive impact. That's just the balance. It's one we've engineered as human beings, but that's the balance. I have major difficulties being descriptive. I have that issue because I need to see. I have to have that idea if it's a thing that I might learn as I write and overthink villains even before I get. Yes, overthinking characters. Oh, dude. Especially situations. You want to try to find that right balance, especially if you want other people to read it, you know. And that's where Gemini helps me. I mean, it's like, okay, this character, you know, maybe you could do a little bit better. Lady Silent helps me too. That's one of her talents. She likes writing as well. She likes reading, and I'll have her regard certain writings. Again, I haven't written in a long time, at least a few months, so I really haven't asked for anything lately. But she's read some of my fan fiction, and she's enjoyed it. She liked it. She thought it was exciting. So, you know, there's always that real human interaction that'll still be there. But like I said, jobs will be affected, sadly. And to me, it's really up to the corporations to find the balance. If you're going to utilize AI, find the balance. Help people keep jobs. You know? Use the AI to make their jobs easier. A lot of people would argue, well, if it's easier, it shouldn't be paid as much. Fair point. But, again, it's up to the companies. I mean, if they're going to utilize something, balance it out. You know, you owe it to your workers who have been dedicated to the company and come in from time and time and sweat and work. You get paid shitty wages. You owe it to them, the workers that help build your company, the people that help build your companies, that if you're going to bring in a tool that is going to affect their jobs, you find a way to balance it out for them. So, anyway. There's ideas I have that I might not use. Remember, I have the shipping container idea that might not be used. What race or something, because I overthink everything, especially with the day and age of people being offended. Use some jerks that are very hated or realistic personalities. Yeah. So, I've already gotten a couple of dislikes on AI-related videos. Just in general. I accept that. That's going to be a part of my reality. It's a part of the reality of any YouTuber. You're going to get dislikes. And it sucks. You know, I mean, there are times when it's like, I mean, okay. I guess you didn't like it. I would love, I've said this before, I would love for YouTube to have an option where if you dislike, you enter why. It'd be optional, but you enter the reason why are you disliking this channel. And Google could collaborate with that data and show certain things, but use that data to see why people are disliking videos and maybe utilize that for policy. Yeah. But anyway, I have to go. I gotta get some sleep. Hopefully I can. My mind will not shut the fuck up, and neither will I. This has been a long stream, but a big shout out to Spikey for engaging with me. It means a lot. And I don't know how well this stream might age. But it is now out there in the digital ether. It is now a part of my channel that I will not be deleting. There have some I've deleted over the years, not gonna lie. Mostly videos, gameplay videos. I don't think I've ever deleted a stream though. But there might have been a couple of videos. Getting you back, brother. I'm working on that. About 20 minutes ago, when I shifted, right here on my back, my muscle like tensed up and it hurt. But anyway, all right. Well, this has been me, Raw. Giggity. My chaos of the office. That during a mood swing, I had to rearrange everything, which sucks, by the way. Totally just out of nowhere decided to like, oh hey, this goes there, I need to pile this up here, I'm going to move that over there, and spurt of energy, I don't remember some of it. It's crazy as hell, man. Crazy. But anyway, stay safe, stay sane, remember you're awesome, never let the world tell you otherwise. If you'd like to give input and opinion, feel free to do so down below. Just try to do it in a concerted way. Keep it decent. I try not to be toxic. I do filter on the channel to avoid toxicity because this is the internet, and there are jerks. There are toxic people. So I hate to filter people, but in regard to that, that's why I hold comments, because YouTubers, content creators, are affected by comments that appear on their channel that they allow to go through. So, as a small YouTuber, the very wrong comment that gets noticed by devs or the automated moderators, I've read stories of smaller YouTubers being gone because they allowed an unfiltered comment to sit too long. So, that's where we're at. Lady saw it right, but then I remember it's about the time crazy. Yeah, she's not a fan, sadly. It's funny though. I need to ask her about reading that stuff, because I don't think I've ever really asked her that. I know she wouldn't like it, but yeah, that's interesting. I'll keep you updated. I'll let you know. But I had to scratch my nose. I was not picking my nose. I had to scratch my nose. Anyway, stay safe, stay sane. Remember, you're awesome. Never let the world tell you otherwise. Spiky, big shout out to you, everybody. I think we had some lurkers too. Future watchers, there will be chapters down below at some point. Another thing Gemini helps me with, because that takes time, and it also helps pinpoint better for some of the more emphatic, and makes it more convenient for people that want to skip ahead to a certain moment. So I'll admit to that as well. Quality of life, man. Quality of life. See ya. Now it's awkward. There we go.